Howdy folks, welcome back. I missed a day. Right, so my goal was to be putting on something every day just to get started, getting in the routine and habits. I missed a day. That's alright, we'll get back here. So today's puzzle is easy mode. Easy. So I know we've done a couple speeds, but we don't need to speed today. We're just going to mosey on through it and walk it through. And so I'm going to go ahead, let me hit the play button, start that timer. Looking around for some simple patterns here. I see some 4s coming across. I see a 4. Okay, I see lots of 2s. A 2 and a 2. Lots of 4s. Alright, so I see this 4 here across the top. And I see a 4 across the right. So you see how this is that symmetry I was talking about. It's really kind of odd. If you look at this puzzle, total symmetry. Look at this top right corner and look in this bottom left corner. It's got a 1 piece, and a corner. 1 piece and a corner. Top left corner has 3, and look at that pattern here in the bottom right corner. This right cube and this left cube, symmetry. Look at that, it's just flipped upside down. This cube on the top and this cube in the bottom, flipped 180 degrees. Total symmetry. So normally when you find numbers like this that are in the corner, you'll find that there's something else here in the corner that gets this one. So these symmetries are really kind of funny. So here's your 4 and there's your 4. So this one is a 4. Let's see here. We've got a 1 across the bottom here. So it's on one of these 2, 2, 3, 4, 5 across this way. So it's one of, oh, and there's our other 5. So see the 5 and the 5. Okay, so it didn't solve it the exact same way, but it still did solve it. It's these symmetries help to give you some answers. With all these numbers here, you go across, you've got a 1, so it's going to be one of these 2, 5, 6, and 2, 5, 6, and 2. You'll see those numbers are there. And so then they'll crisscross and help solve each other too. So, yeah, symmetry. I always think that's really kind of neat to see some of the symmetry that's in there. This top right cube here, I see this 9 that comes up, and it just leaves us one spot for the 9. And we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4. We're missing our 5 and our 6. And I noticed there's a 6 right there, so there is our 6. And there is our 5. Single eliminations, that's all we did. We looked for the number that was missing, and we singled it out. We have 2 numbers that are missing here for this column. I usually like to look at those. I've got a 9, 8, 7. I'm missing a 7. And then we've got a 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and a 1. A 7 and a 1. Okay, so let's go ahead and mark that. 1 and a 7. 1 and a 7. Because I'm looking to the left here and I don't have a 1 or a 7 here. And I don't have a 1 or a 7 here just yet. That's okay. So I know that is that one. Okay, so just kind of letting my numbers wander. I see this 6 here and I followed across. So that means this has to be the 6 because these two cannot be 6s. Okay, and I'm just going to follow that 6 across. Usually when I put one number in, so if I have a 6 in the left column, oh, here's a 6 for the middle column. So it's the top or the bottom. And I'm looking to the right, oh, and I see a 6 here in the top and in the middle. So our 6 has to be in the bottom. Okay. Alright. Okay. So we've got 2 spots that are missing here, and looks like we're missing a 1 and a 9. Okay, so let's mark those. 1 and a 9. 1 and a 9. Now with this 1, we do have a ghost row, a simple ghost row. Anywhere where there's a spot where it only has 2 numbers, those 2 spots are guaranteed. That means in the whole row or the column, there cannot be any other 1s or 9s in this whole entire row. See that? It doesn't matter if this is a 1 or this is a 1. This cannot be a 1 in the same row. So we know that's a 7. We know that's a 1. Okay, so let's solve that with a little simple ghost row. Alright, okay, so let's see what else we've got here. looking for some of these patterns here. I see there is a 1 coming across the top, and here's a 1 across the middle. So there's only one spot left that can be a 1 here. Alright, I see there's a 1 across the middle and a 1 down the middle. So that's the only one that can be a 1. And right here we have a 1 and a 9 because of this one here. We have a 1 across the middle, we have a 1 across the bottom, and we have a 1 down the middle column. Just one spot left for that to be a 1. Now that completes all of our 1s. Let's look at our 2s. We've got a 2, a 2, a 2. We've got our 2 here. Now this middle one does not have a 2, so we have a 2 across the top. We have our 2 across the middle. We don't have our 2 on the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to look down below and up above. Nothing to cancel that out, so I'm not sure which one it is just yet. Okay, top left we have a 2 in the left column. We have a 2 in the middle column. So this right column is the only place left for a 2. We have a 2 across the top. We have a 2 across the bottom. So we don't know which one it is just yet. So we have 2 possibilities for the 2. Now when we put this 2 in, we left this column just missing one number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we put our 8 in there. Okay, so now we've got 2 numbers that are missing. What are we missing? Looks like a 3 and a 9. So I look above and I look to the right. No 3 or 9 in the middle or the bottom column. Boop, I look down at the bottom and look, there's a 3 right there. So if there's a 3 in this column, then this one has to be our 9, and this one has to be our 3. Single elimination. Okay, the very far left column, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is the only number left that can be there. So we're missing 2 numbers here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and an 8. We're going to look to the right, and there's an 8. So we know that the top row is already complete with the 8, so we know it has to be a 7. And then we know our 8 is in the middle. Okay, now this top row only has one number left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we've got our 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, there we go. So let's see what else is missing here in this second cube. We've got our 1. We know that one of these 2 is our 2. We've got a 3. Now we need a 4. Okay, now we have a 4 here that covers this row. And I'm looking down, and we've got a 4 here that covers the left column and the right column. So this is the only spot left for a 4. We've got our 5. We've got our 6. Now we need a 7. Now here's a 7. So we can't have a 7 in this row. And here's a 7, so we can't have a 7 in this column. So this is the only one left that can be a 7. Now by doing that, we just eliminated one of the spots that our 2 can be. So that one has to be our 2. And then we see that the only number that we're missing is an 8. And that'll complete this cube and this row, 8. Alright, so we are moving very simply, single eliminations. Alright, let's look in this cube here. We've got our 1, we've got our 2, we need a 3. I look up above, I look to the left. Oh, here's 1, 3, so we can't have a 3 here. So it's in one of these 2 spots. We look down below. I don't have any way else to cancel out the 3's, so I'll just mark those really quick. I need a 4. Alright, so I look up. Oh, here's a 4 in this column. So we cannot have a 4 in this column, so this is the only spot left for a 4. Well, that just eliminates the only spot that can be our 3. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is what we're missing. 8, 9. Okay. Now this column here just ended up only having one spot left. We've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We need a 9. Alright, so let's look in this one. What are we missing? We've got a 1, we've got a 2, we need a 3. Alright, now we've only got 1 3 across the top, so we're not sure which one of these 2 it's going to be. That's okay, we'll just mark it. So we've got a 3, we've got a 4, we need a 5. Okay, there's no 5 in this column. And here's a 5 across the bottom, so we can't have a 5 here. So we've got a 5. We've got our 6. We've got our 7. Now we need an 8. Okay, now here is an 8. So this one can be an 8, and this one can be an 8. So the three numbers that we're missing is a 3, a 5, and an 8. Now you see how there's a 3 and an 8 already? When we marked all the possibilities, this square can't be a 3 and it can't be an 8. So the only number left is a 5. Single elimination. If we combine this column and this row, so if we count like 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, possibility for a 5, but there's a 6 and a 7 and an 8 and a 9. So because this square shares this row and this column, we count them together and we see that 5 is the only number left. Then we can go ahead and get rid of that 5. Okay, so we know these are a 3 and an 8. We'll just keep going with our single eliminations, and that will solve itself fairly quickly. Let's look in this center cube here. We've got a 1, we've got a 2, we need a 3. So no 3 across the top and no 3 across the bottom. So we know one of these two is a 3. Now right here, this is what I call a ghost row again. If one of these two have to be a 3, this cannot be a 3. Alright, the other thing that we have is down here there are two numbers that are missing in this row, a 3 and an 8. So one of these has to be a 3 and one of these has to be an 8. And if we look up here, we'll see there's a 3. So that means this one cannot be a 3. Alright, so we know this one has to be our 8, and we know this one has to be our 3. Now if this isn't a 3, then we know that one has to be our 8. And that's the other thing with this ghost row, was telling us this one couldn't be a 3. Okay, so what's the other number that we're missing here? In this particular row is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're missing our 5. So we look up here in the columns and see if there's any help, and sure enough there's a 5. So this one cannot be a 5. So there's our 5 and our 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We need a 6 and a 9. Alright, so let's look up, and we see here in the column there's a 9. So single elimination, if that's our 9, and then we count this back out again, we can count and we'll notice that we're missing just a 6. Alright, now time for the one that was missing the most set of numbers here. Now we have a 2 here, so that tells me this one cannot be a 2 anymore. The two numbers we're missing here, 1, 2, and a 3. So you see how we have a 3 here and a 2 here? So we're going to flop those, 2 and a 3. So we've got our 1, we've got our 2, we've got our 3, we've got our 4, we need a 5. So I'm going to look to the left and to the right, no 5 across the top. I'm going to look above and below. There's a 5 in the right column and a 5 in the middle column. So this is the only spot left that can be a 5. Then we need a 6. So we're going to look to the left and the right, and I see a 6 here, no 6 across the top, and I'm going to look above and below and find another 6. So no 6 across the top, no 6 across the right, one spot left for the 6. Now I need a 7. So we can say here's a 7, so no 7 in this middle column, and I see a 7 here, no 7 in this row. So one spot left to be a 7. Then we need an 8, and we can see there's an 8 here, so no 8 here. So this is the only spot left for an 8. So you can, this one you can count the row, the column, or the cube, and you'll find out that one there has to be the 8. Same with this one here, you're going to find out that you're missing a 9. Okay, so there's no 9 in this row, no 9 in this column, and no 9 in this cube. So just by simple calculating it out, boom, there we have it, folks. I know we did that one kind of slow. Easies are a great way to start off with fewer pencil marks. Like I said, I've had some friends that they just like to pencil everything out they can, and sometimes that can be very overwhelming. So this is a great way if you wanted to learn some of the pencil marks, and then always do it with a pencil. If you do it with a pen, it'll be very complicated because you won't be able to erase it or mark it out, and your puzzle will get really overloaded really quick with information. So have some fun with it, test yourselves out, stretch your mind, and have some fun. Thanks for following through with me, and hope you guys enjoyed the puzzle, and I'll catch you later.